Greetings everyone. My name is Samuel Suryadinata Hosea, and I'm a 7th semester student in Petra Christian University, majoring in International Business Management Program. And in this beautiful opportunity, I would like to share to you about my self-discovery. And by knowing my self-discovery, I can create my future plan. In order to do that, I'm going to use the action learning formula developed by Professor Dr. Casey Chan. So this is the action learning equation developed by Professor Dr. Casey Chan. It consists of 5 steps, which is what, why, when, how, who, where, and how much. In what, I will elaborate more about what is my personality. And in why, I will tell you why I need to understand about my personality. So in when, I will tell you about my future career path, how I'm going to achieve it, and who are my supporters. In where, I will explain where it went wrong and where it went right. And for how much, I will use it to evaluate my performance. Okay, move on to the next section, which is what. In what here, I'm going to use the triangle individual competence, team capacity, and organizational capability. I start with individual competence, so there will be 3 tests that I'm going to use. The first one is the learning style test, second one is technopreneurship CAT test, and the third one is the Big 5 personality test. Moving on to the first test, which is the learning style test. I score 18 on pragmatist, and 17 on reflector, 13 on theorist, and last 6 on activist. To conclude, I score high on both pragmatist and also reflector. As a pragmatist, that means that I'm an action learner. I like to put things into action, and I can study better, understand better when I do the thing. However, I also score high on reflector, which means that I like to think before making an action. I observe from various angles, which means that I have a thorough preparation before I'm making an action. Okay. So moving on to the next test, which is the technopreneurship test. For the need for achievement, I score quite high, which is 9. That means that I'm a result-oriented and also I'm very passionate to achieve my goal. For the need for autonomy, I score average, which is 6. That means that sometimes I prefer to work alone, but sometimes I also prefer to work in a group. For the creative tendency, I score quite low, which is only 3. And for the calculated risk taking, I score quite high, which is 8. That means that I like to take a challenging job but attainable. And for drive and determination, I score very high. That means that I'm very driven to achieve my goal. And for the Big 5 personality test, for the extraversion, I score low, 15, which means I'm introvert. I like to enjoy my me time. For the agreeableness, I score quite high, which is 27. That means that I'm not easily offended, and I don't like to argue with someone. And for the conscientiousness, I score quite high, which is 29. That means that I'm very diligent. So when there are a group project, usually I'm the one who starts the job. For neurocriticism, I also score quite high, which is 26, which means that I emotionally quite intelligent. And for the openness to experience, I scored average, which is 20. I'm quite open to new experience, but I've calculated the risk and I'm ready to take the risk. And moving on to the next session, which is the team capacity. In this part, I'm going to use the Belbin's 9 team roles test. So for the result of Belbin's 9 team roles test, I score high on completer or finisher, team worker, implementer, and coordinator. For completer or finisher, that means that I'm the one who ensures the work or the group project finish in time. For the team worker, that means that I'm cooperative, diplomatic, calm the waters, and ensure that the team can work well. I'm the one who arranges the group so that it can work well. For the coordinator, is I keep the team on the right track and I delegate work properly. I delegate it based on everyone's weakness or strength. And for the implementer, I'm the one who put concepts into the action. Okay, so moving on to the next section, which is the organizational capability. And this section I will use the leadership self-assessment test. And the result is I score highest on building relationship and aligning people, which is 16, and motivating and inspiring, which is 14. I score high on building relationship and aligning people because I'm a team worker. I also like to motivate and inspire people so that they can do their job well. And for the important attributes, I choose 4, which is analytical, caring, dedicated, and persistent. Analytical because I'm a reflector, so I have to be analytical to assess the situation. I'm caring because I'm a team worker, and also I'm dedicated and persistent because I score high on my need for achievement. That means that I have to be persistent and dedicated to achieve my goal. So moving on to the next section, which is why. Here I will explain why I need to understand about my personality. In why here, I'm going to use the 5 why. So the first why is, why do I need to know my personality? So it makes me aware of my strength and weakness. Also ensures the proper learning style for me. The next why is, why do I need to know my learning style? So that I can gain new knowledge and improve my skill optimally. The third why is, why do I need to know my entrepreneur skill? It is to know my entrepreneur traits that I have and also the traits that I need to improve. The next why is, why do I need to know my team role? So it makes me aware of my role in an organization so I can give maximum contribution to the team. And the last why is, why do I need to know about my leadership style? So to know what kind of leader I am and what traits that I need to improve. So these are all the 5 why. Moving on to the when, how, and who. The first one is when. I will explain about my future plan. So 1 year from now, I'm going to graduate for IBM and working in Surabaya or Jakarta. 3rd year from now, I'm going to take my master degree in one of the top university in USA or China. 6 years from now, I'm going to work in multinational company as a financial analyst. And 10 years from now, I will becoming the chief financial officer in a multinational company. And moving on to the next question, which is how I'm going to achieve my goal. So I'm going to use the IPO framework to explain how I'm going to achieve my goal, starting with input. The input, I will have my planning and individual competence. For the process, I will going through a hard continuous learning. And for the output, of course, I want to be the chief financial officer. So to assess my performance, I'm going to use the monitor and control, consists of 3 KPIs, which is job acceptance, salary, and also position. Now I will going to discuss about who are my supporters. Basically, there are 3. They are my family, lecturers, and friends. They are the one who always support me to become a better person. Next one is where. Here I will explain where it went right and also where it went wrong. This is the self-development transition process from my initial competence becoming my enhanced competence. There are 5 steps that I need going through. First is insight, motivation, new knowledge and skill, real-world application, and accountability. So the part where it will went wrong is in real-world application, because it is very hard to implement the theory that I have learned into the real-world situation. So moving on to the last part, which is how much here I will evaluate my performance using the KPI GOT. For the goal is to be the chief financial officer of a top multinational company. And for the objective, my objective is to increase my knowledge and analytical skill by continuing my study at top university in USA or China. And for the target, I will have my work-life balance, and also I will have a salary above 50,000 US dollar per month. So to conclude this presentation, I'm going to use the onion diagram combined with the 6 thinking hats, starting with the stamina power, which is represented by red hat. It means that I have to have the stamina and also the passion in order to achieve the goal. The next step is I have to communicate it, which is represented by the yellow hat. And also, don't forget, I have to be aware of the condition and don't to be overconfident with my condition, represented by the white hat. And most important, also I need to be adaptive with the environment, represented by the green hat. Also, I need to calculate the risk when I want to achieve my goal, represented by the black hat. And most importantly of all, I have to execute what I have already planned, which is represented by the blue hat. So basically, that's all my self-discovery and my future plan analysis using the action learning equation developed by Professor Dr. Mesija. So actually, action learning equation is very useful to solve many problems because it fills the gap in theory and also the practical things. That's all my presentation. Thank you for watching my video and have a good day.